dry min, and that's one of those sort of interesting classic regional dishes in Hawaii, and it originated on Maui in a restaurant called Sam Sato. They're very well known for and famous for their dry min. We're gonna make our version of that today. To start, I have fresh ramen or saimin noodles that I'm gonna be adding into boiling water, and we're gonna cook that. What's important is that you use a great quality fresh noodle. Now, Sam Sato has noodles made specially for them. This is a great fresh noodle that I used from a company called Sun Noodle, and they make really, really good saimin and ramen noodles. So we start with cooking these noodles here, and then we have a broth. Now, doing the research, the restaurant has their own noodles made for them. They have a very special broth that they use. In our recipe here, I'm using the actual broth packet that came with the fresh noodles. So I made that, and then I added a little bit of extra shoyu and a little bit of things that I think taste great. So I'm making my own broth here. And then, based on the research that I've done, when the noodles are done, they take them out and they quickly toss them in. It used to be sort of a version of, a little bit of oil and some shoyu, and now they make their own secret sauce recipe that flavors the noodles. What I'm gonna be doing in our recipe here is I'm gonna use a little bit of broth seasoning that I have. I recently made a dish that is similar to nishime called konbu maki. I saved some of that broth, and I'm gonna use that to flavor the noodles. Now, this dish is very different from fried saimin, which is another classic sort of regional dish in Hawaii, where the saimin noodles are cooked and then they're actually fried, and then they put ingredients in and then put them in a bowl. What we're doing is we're cooking the noodles. As soon as they're done, we're gonna toss them, put them in the bowl, garnish it, and then we're gonna serve it with the broth on the side. Let me check the noodles right now. I'm looking for a nice chewy noodle. And it's really close. The thing about fresh noodles is they will cook very quickly. So we're gonna pull it up and we're gonna drain it. I'm gonna drain all this liquid out. One of the things I was thinking about this is dry min is interesting, and basically it's freshly cooked noodles with a seasoned broth served on the side. And for those of you that are big ramen aficionados, what this is similar to a style of dish called sukemen, which is noodles that is served with a seasoned broth on the side. Okay, so I have my noodles that are here. They're hot and they're ready to go. I have my broth. I'm gonna just put a little bit. I don't want it to be really wet. This is merely just to start getting the seasoning going. And then I'm gonna go ahead and toss that. So when I put it in the bowl, it should not be swimming in sauce. Now I'm using a kind of a bigger bowl than the noodles sort of you'd think they would need, but I'm also bringing a big bowl because depending on how the customer or how you or your guests want to eat this, if they were to pour the broth in, you want to have a lot of space for the broth to move around. Next we have our broth that I made. I'm going to pour it into a side dish. Now I'm using glass bowls so you can see what we're doing here. But when you're doing this at home, you can use, ramen bowls or deep pasta bowls for it. So we have our noodles in here and we have our broth on the side. Now comes the garnish. For this dish, I'm garnishing with bean sprouts. We have freshly made char siu. And we have green onions going on the top. And that's the dish. It's a simple dish, but sometimes the simple dishes are the ones that are the most complex because you need to make sure that all of the ingredients you're starting with are very, very well executed. So here we have dry min. I'm gonna put just a little dash of shoyu on top. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some of these noodles, which have been seasoned with my konbu maki broth. I have a plate here. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people that will eat the noodles just dry like this, straight, but I'm gonna dip a little bit in the sauce here. Get on the plate. Some of my garnish, put it on the plate. and then go ahead and just eat it and have a good time. So here we have our my version of dry min, the famous noodle dish from the island of Maui. And for more recipes like this, visit us at foodland.com.